As part of our next objective, we are going to be placing decimals on a number line. Now, to do that, it's very important that we understand decimals and how they work. So, our first example here talks about how, or asks us to shade in 1/100th of the figure below. There are 100 squares that have divided up this larger square. Now, 1/100th means that I would fill in one of the 100 squares. That's 1/100th. Now, this same amount can be expressed as a decimal, written as 0.01. We would say this as 100th. Now, we're going to review a little bit about how to read decimals. How to read the number 5.167. We say the whole number, 5. And then, for the decimal, we say and. So 5 and. Then we say the number after the decimal, 167. So just like we would have seen it, or like we would have said it as a whole number. And then say the place name of the last digit. Our last digit is 7, and that is thousands. So we read the number 5 and 167 thousandths. I will show you a few more examples here. You can even set up your own place value chart or write out the numbers. In this case, what I think I'm going to do, I'm just going to draw some lines so that it's very clear to me which place value is which. So this is my whole number, this is my ones, and then we have tenths, hundredths, and thousands. And I'll put a TH for thousands. Excuse me. So for our first one, we say the whole number. We have 4 and 352 thousandths. Here we have 7 and 82 hundredths. For number 3, we have 0. We say the 0 if there's a 0 there. 0 and 216 thousandths. 0 and 34 hundredths. 5. Oh, sorry, that's the number, not the problem. 6 and 8 tenths. We have a little bit more of our decimal review. Before we move on, we want to make sure that we have a really strong understanding of what a tenth is versus a hundredth and a thousandth. Here we have a square that's been divided into 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1/10 would be one of these. Here we have the same box that we saw before that is divided into 100 pieces. And so one of these would be 100th. So this would be 1/10, this would be 100th. These now have these boxes divided into tens. So we took this and divided that by 10, or multiplied that by 10. Now we've multiplied this by 10, or divided it. I'm confusing myself, sorry. We have divided what we had here into 10 pieces each, and now we've divided each of these into 10 pieces each. So one of these small pieces, is 1,000th. So as you can see, a tenth is a lot bigger than 100th, which is a lot bigger than 1,000th. One way to think about these is with money. When we're talking about decimals, we are talking about the numbers that you would see in the cents side of things. We don't read them the same way. We usually say dollars and cents when we're reading them, but we write them in the same way. So if I had $9.52, I would have 5 tenths, which would be 5 dimes, and 2 hundredths. We don't even go this small for our number, or for our currency, for our coins. Though people do calculate that, when we use money, we don't go that small. Now, if I were to ask you, would you like $9.90, or 9 cents. I have to guess which one you would pick. This is probably the last one you would choose because that's the smallest amount. This one is the next smallest, it's not that much. This is the largest, so it's very important where these numbers are in relation to the decimal point. Now we have a few problems here. I will not do all of them, but I will show you at least one. Now it says we won't be able to draw too many pictures of thousands, so for today we will focus on decimal form, fraction form, and word form. That would take a lot of work to draw pictures of thousands. So here we have decimal form, fraction form, word form. This says 63 hundredths. Right now, because it says hundredths, I know as a fraction, it has a denominator of 100. And now this 63 tells me how many of the pieces we have. So of those 100 pieces, if we looked back up at our chart up here, we have 63 out of 100. Now for decimal form, we need to remember that 63, the last number, is going to be in the hundreds place. So we have 0 because it doesn't tell us about any whole number, and 63 hundredths. These are the tens, tenths, hundredths, and we didn't even get to the thousandths place for this problem. 63 hundredths. Remembering that you're reading this and saying the place value of the last number represented. I'll do one more and then you can do 3 on your own. Here we have 2 and 145 thousandths. So I can actually write that right away. Because I read the problem, it was easier to do right away. So we have 2, and that represents the decimal in this case, 145 tenths, hundredths, thousandths. It's a lot. We used 2 lines to write that out. Now for our fraction form, because it is thousandths, I know that I have 1,000 pieces in my whole, and of those pieces I have 145. Now you might be wondering, what happened to the 2? Well, this 2 is a whole number. This is like if we go back up to the dollars. This is like I have $2, and if it was just 2 digits, it'd be like 14 or 15 cents. So in this case, I represent that 2 in a mixed number. So we have a whole number and a fraction. Now you can attempt this problem here. Using this information, you should be able to figure out how many pieces, so what decimal place our number will end on, and how to write it in decimal form.